Right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the seminar presented to you by the Community Engagement Core of the Center for Biomedical and Minority Health Research here at Texas Southern University. My name is Dr. Veronica Ajewole. I am the Director for the Center for the Community Engagement Core of the CBMHR, and it is our ultimate pleasure to have each and every one of you join us this afternoon as we discuss self-care and resources for achieving my healthy body. Over the next few slides, we would like to introduce ourselves again to everybody in the community. And please listen to these videos so you can join us, connect with us, and know what we are about in CEC.
Texas Southern University's Center for Biomedical and Minority Health Research Community Engagement Core is funded by the National Institute of Minority Health and Health Disparity Research Center for Minority Institutions program. The CEC works directly with communities to identify and address health-related concerns and reduce health disparities related to ethnic minorities. We provide health education and partnerships with healthcare systems, federally qualified health centers, community and faith-based organizations. For more information, visit us on social media at CEC Texas Southern U or give us a call at 713-313-1233 or send us an email at cbmhrcommunity@tsu.edu.
Awesome, and thank you. So just a couple of announcements as we get started with our seminar this afternoon. Once again, we want to say thank you to everybody for taking time out of your wonderful afternoon. We are here in Houston and it is very hot. So we hope that you all are, staying hydrated, staying cool wherever you are. We ask that you please remain muted throughout the course of the presentation. There will be opportunity for question and answer at the end. You can also post your questions in the chat box. Just to, get a feedback from you, the community. We are really here to serve the community members. We are here to work closely with the community members. We would be posting the link to the survey in the chat box. So please, we want to hear back from you. And as part of the survey, we have a giveaway of $10 gift card for 10 people that complete the survey. So please share with us your opinion about today's seminar, and we would love to continue to connect with each and every one of you. Also, we want to say a big thank you to everybody that is currently at the Rec Center in Texas Southern University, working with the Center for Aging, Miss Lena, and all the team members over there. Good afternoon. I'm sure you guys are listening in. We're excited that you've been able to join us this afternoon, and we look forward to having a great discussion today as we talk about self-care and resources of achieving my healthy body. It is my pleasure and privilege to introduce our very first speaker for this afternoon, Dr. Crystal Adnott. Dr. Adnott became a student of nutrition after a medical crisis and being diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. Crystal has comprehensively studied over 100 dietary theories, the science behind food, as well as innovative method in integrative wellness. She's an alum of University of Houston, proud Texas Southern University, Maryland University of Integrative Health. Dr. Adnott is a certified integrative nutritionist, functional wellness coach, and a health educator. Our wellness philosophy is one that looks at the complete person and focus on the full spectrum, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual wellness of the individual. She believes that since people are multidimensional, health must be addressed with a multifaceted approach. So without further ado, I want you all to join me in welcoming Dr. Crystal Adnott as she takes it over to discuss, some nutrition points with us this afternoon. Thank you again, Dr. Adnott, for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I am excited to be here to give back to my university.
Great, thank you.
Great. Okay, I'm going to really focus a lot on today, managing our health through food. And when I say managing health through food, I'm going to talk about varying components, but we're going to also focus a lot on what that really means when I say various focus. She already did a very good introduction to me, so we can skip on that. But specifically obesity and I always get tongue-tied, dyslipidemia. The underlying causes are really kind of unique because some underlying causes could be genetic or hereditary. And when we look at those genetics or those hereditary features, a lot of times it's because of gene mutations that cause our bodies to produce, high levels of LDL cholesterol. But the real big culprit is the secondary cause factor. So the secondary causes, meaning lifestyle and other causes. Secondary causes contribute to things such as sedentary lifestyle, excessive dietary intake of total calories, saturated fat, cholesterol, trans fat, etc. But when we look at those degrees vary, and I'll give you an example. A person from a hereditary standpoint may have a higher lipid panel levels than a person that when it's secondary. Generally, when it's caused by from a genetic mutation, the levels are really, really abnormal and not just slightly higher from a person from that's been eating a way to that particular lifestyle. And I really want to kind of like distinguish between the two, but really focus on the secondary factor, which is, I think, is the most important cause when we're talking about obesity and dyslipidemia. So it's really that sedentary lifestyle, that excessive calorie intake, saturated fat, cholesterols, trans fats, as well as stress. Which I think personally is the main culprit. There are some other secondary issues that may cause it. I have been one of persons who my health has been a big cause, and thyroid issues are one thing, like hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism has also been a secondary cause, as well as kidney disease. But really the biggest part has been what we put into our bodies as far as nutrition, and also the level of stress that our bodies intake from having certain type of lifestyles. And that stress is not necessarily, a lot of people think about stress and they automatically go to mental. That stress can be mental, that stress can be physical, because you can over exercise. I always tell people there is such thing as too much of a good thing. So you can stress out your body from a physical perspective, you can stress out your body from a mental perspective, and your body does not register the difference. I always like to give the analogy of a car. When you have a high performance car, you have to put a different level of octane gas in it for it actually to drive and perform the way it should perform. And we should always look at our bodies as such. If we want our bodies to be these high performance beings, we have to put a higher level of octane in our body, and we cannot stress it out by pressing on the gas all the time. So that's kind of just like always my analogy I like to give. So when the body is under stress, it also has a lot of factors that take place. So what happens when the body is under stress? There's this fight or flight response that the body goes through. That fight or flight response causes two things to happen with our bodies. One is inflammation. Inflammation is really the root cause to what I think is all chronic diseases and obesity. Also, what happens is your body starts to produce higher levels of cortisols, which can contribute to obesity, i.e. belly fat, and cause all other chronic illness such as diabetes. And so really understanding that factor of that inflammation strictly forming from that fight or flight response that your body goes through stress. But also stress and nutrition is a two-way street, because when your body is under stress, what happens is your body goes through a depletion of nutrients, specifically magnesium, zinc, calcium, and iron. So your body cannot hold and concentrate those levels of nutrients when it's under stress or it's under that fight or flight response. So it's extremely important to understand how stress and nutrition work hand to hand to give those same outcomes of creating chronic illnesses or really creating obesity just from the food that we're eating as well as the stress that our body goes through. I also here want to focus a lot on, nutrition or natural remedies to help with that. One of the biggest things, most people always understand is reducing the consumption of unhealthy fats, such as those found in red meats or full fat dairy products, refined carbohydrates, chocolate, chips, fried foods, etc. And we all have that understanding of reducing that consumption. But we also, and as we're reducing, we also have to increase consumptions of healthy polyunsaturated fats, such as nuts and seeds and legumes and fish and whole grains and olive oils. And I also suggest, when food is always first, but when you can't get everything you need to get in food, there you can take supplements. One of the supplements that are really helpful, specific for obesity and these and people with these varying levels of LDL, is an omega-3 oil. And so I prefer it to be in the oil form or the liquid form versus capsule, because it actually absorbs in the body quicker and faster without having to break down the actual capsule that's in it. So omega-3 is easily added to your diet. If it's in an oil or liquid form, you can easily cook with it, but be careful when you're adding heat to those oils, because it also breaks down the nutritional value of that oil once you start to process it with heat. I also like to just dash mine on top of a salad or put oil inside of my smoothies. It actually makes a smoothie more creamier. Another thing that you have to focus on is eating plenty of dietary fibers from whole fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. I know a lot of times people think right now that all carbohydrates are the devil and they try to take out all carbs in your diet, or a lot of people are concerned about the sugars that are found in fruit, but I always like to let people know that those are natural sugars. And when you combine fiber with the sugar, it does not have the same reaction of sugar processing in the body as a piece of cake, because of the fiber combined with those natural sugars breaks down in our bodies and our systems very, very differently. Also, a couple of other nutrition or natural remedies we should focus on is reducing or even avoiding alcohol consumption. And it really depends on where your levels are, what your LDL levels are, your other levels, just really your lipid panel in general. And as far as like whether you reduce or avoid alcohol, but also drinking plenty of water. The majority of our body is made up of water. And so it's really important and that we focus on water. And I always like to also add to people that just because you have tea with water in it does not count as your water consumption. So drinking half your body weight in water is kind of like the baseline, but then it depends on a couple of other factors. So if you are, let's say 200 pounds, that's 100 ounces of water a day. But it also depends on your sweat equity. So if you're a heavy sweater or you're outside here, we're in Houston where the humidity is high and you're sweating a lot, you have to then start to add more water on top of that baseline level of water. If you're, for example, from a workout perspective, I always like to tell my clients to add 12 ounces for every 60 minutes, 30 to 60 minutes of workout that you have. Also, what's really is important is maintaining a healthy body weight by losing weight if necessary. But when I say lose weight, I always like to caution people because we really focus on the pounds on the scale when we look at weight. But what we really need to start focusing on is our body fat, not our body weight perspective. Because if you're a person with a larger body frame or higher muscle concentration, your weight on the scale could be a higher number, but you don't have as much body fat. So the key importance is to make sure that you're in a healthy body fat range for your height and age. Another thing is adding exercises regularly. And I always like to tell people I'm not really big on the exercises, like I said in the beginning, that causes a lot of stress on the body, where the body is then going through that fight or flight response, trying to recover. So really consider mindful based exercises. Not saying you can't do the rigorous exercises, but walking, yoga, meditation, they have movement meditation where you're not just sitting still. So it's a form of movement where you're getting some exercise. But I always like to tell people practice walking. You'll be amazed at what it does for your body physically, but also what it does to your body mentally. But it's also very, very good for your digestive system to really help your body start to absorb nutrients better, as well as digest your food better. Also, if you're a smoker, quit smoking is also just like a go-to norm that we know. The use of tobacco products also causes obesity, but also causes our lipid panels to go out of whack. And avoid sitting for long periods of time. I know everybody now is like staying at home. It's COVID. A lot of people have really got used to working from home and doing a lot of things virtually. But I would always caution people for sitting for long periods of time because that it's put us in a very sedentary practice. And do small things like adding a alarm or a timer on your phone to get up every hour or two just to walk around to get some level of movement in so you're not being as sedentary sitting for long periods of time. Okay, there are some foods that are and macronutrients that are really, really important to add to your diet to bring you to what's called homeostasis, which is basically bringing your body back into balance. And also some micronutrients that really help with um, most chronic illnesses, inflammation, obesity, and dyslipidemia. And so I'm going to share with you guys a couple of my go-to favorites. As far as foods and herbs are concerned, if you're looking to lower those LDL and lower your cholesterol levels, a really good go-to is those dietary fibers. To lower also your cholesterol as well as your triglyceride levels, the omega-3, like I discussed before. But when I get really deep into the food, there are some foods that lower your cholesterol. And those foods are my top three go-to is garlic, ginger, and artichoke. Those are really high packed with nutrients. They're very nutrient dense foods and they really help lower those cholesterol. And like I said, I always practice food first, but there are some micronutrients or some vitamins and minerals that are extremely key to this process. And so those vitamins and nutrients that are really key to the process, for example, your vitamin B. Vitamin B, specifically vitamin B5 and niacin are two vitamins that are really good at lowering your LDL, cholesterol, and your triglyceride levels. And really understanding that vitamin B is a water soluble vitamin, which means you do need to have a little bit more water than normal with that particular vitamin to make sure that your body is absorbing that mineral the way it should. I mean, that vitamin the way it should. So vitamin B. Vitamin C, also another water soluble vitamin that you need to drink a little bit more water when you're taking it. I know some people have probably had that feeling where they've taken vitamins and then they go to the restroom and realize that their urine is a little stronger. And it's really because you haven't drunk enough water to help dilute and absorb those vitamins. So you're basically releasing those vitamins back out of your system without them actually absorbing. So vitamin C is another. And the reason why vitamin C is super important because it protects the body against LDL oxidation process. So it's really, really important that you focus on that protection that your body needs, as well as helping lower those levels down. But also vitamin D is another good one, as well as magnesium. And actually vitamin C, vitamin D, and magnesium, I like to call them the Care Bear kids, simply because they're interdependent upon each other. Vitamin D and vitamin C, they kind of work together to help with the absorption of each other. In order for vitamin D to absorb better in our body, we need to have the right vitamin C levels as well as magnesium levels. Because generally, most people who are having issues with, for instance, a vitamin D deficiency, they also have a deficiency in vitamin C or magnesium. So really understanding that these three kind of work in a cycle together to help support each other. Specifically, magnesium and vitamin D helps reduce the risk of arterial blockage that may exist because of the varying levels of your lipid panel. Another mineral that I really like to focus on when working with individuals that can't get it through food, it's the three kids, another three set of minerals. And these minerals protect against dangerous lipid proteins that that's created in the body. And that's zinc, selenium, and CoQ10. Those three really help protect the body against those dangerous levels. And so those are the macronutrients that help. The crowd out method is a method I really like to use with my clients because it really helps you not focus on adopting a certain diet. Because what I hate for people to feel like is that they can never have their favorite food again, or that they have to completely, change everything in their lifestyle. So I like for them to start off with a kind of like a transitional method. So you basically, when the crowd out method is actually you adding more nutrient dense food versus focusing on taking away those quote unquote, I hate labeling food, those bad foods out of your diet. So for instance, if you're a person that eats a donut every morning with some coffee, I always tell to crowd out the coffee, crowd out the donut with not taking away the coffee and the donut per se, but adding a fruit like a banana, adding water. So when you add those banana and add that water, it helps crowd out the badness of the donut and the actual coffee. And that method goes because what happens is when you're having something that's a lot more nutrient dense, it fills up your gut a little faster, so you're fuller quicker. So before you eat the donut, take a bite out of the banana first, and you'll notice that you probably won't be able to even finish the donut. So you're crowding out with nutrients by not necessarily taking away your donut, but actually adding some good stuff to it. So that's an example of the crowd out method. And you can practice this with each meal of the day to kind of really go into that transitioning lifestyle to a better, more healthier, more nutrient dense lifestyle. I talked about food, but I also, when it comes to stress, want to talk about some self-care resources or techniques that I like for individuals to use. Of course, like I said in the beginning, eating healthy foods, and getting exercise and avoiding, drugs and alcohols to manage stress. But the big thing that we really forget about is sleep, getting the right proper sleep. Sleep, when we're asleep, our body is doing all the major things. One is resting. Two is really breaking down and digesting and absorbing our nutrients from the day and breaking down the food, which is why the first meal of the day, they call it breaking the fast, because during the fast, what your body is doing is breaking down the food that you've intake. So that process of work is going on while you're asleep. If you're not getting enough sleep, your body is not properly digesting and breaking down your foods the way it needs to break down. So it over time lends itself to obesity, and also just a lot of stress on the body, because that sits in the body long, the food sits in the body longer, which causes the body to go through a harsher processing system. So that's also stress on the body. Also, I always like to tell people to manage stress by going through regular medical checkups. You need to understand and know your numbers on your lipid panel, but you also need to know what your vitamin and mineral levels are. I always tell my clients to go for the comprehensive panel, so you'll know not just your cholesterol, not just your blood pressure, not just your blood sugar levels, but you also understand if there's any deficiencies that exist in your vitamins and minerals as well. Another thing is see friends to build your sense of belonging. And I know a lot of times people are like, well, what does that have to do with health? When your body is cognitively and mentally and spiritually connected, it naturally absorbs food much better. And you do that through creating these friend circles or these friend groups and interacting, which is why you always get this sense of euphoria, maybe when you're around family or around holiday season, and you're around a lot of people and you feel good. And when you feel good, your body actually is doing the work that it should do in the proper way without the added stress of not feeling good. Also, try to do something that you enjoy every day. And my favorite thing to do is I like to turn on music and just dance. Those that know me knows that I'm a dance. I like to dance. I'm not a good dancer, but it doesn't matter. So I like to have fun and enjoy. And it's also a way to just, for me to get my body moving and burn calories. So find that activity that you enjoy and do it and give that to yourself once a day. Find other ways to relax, like meditation, yoga, getting a massage, taking a bath, walks in the woods, because that really helps manage stress as well. And so those are the tips. So in committing to your health and nutrition, just kind of like a breakdown of what I kind of share with you guys is like knowing your numbers. When I say know your numbers, that goes beyond knowing your lipid panel, but also knowing what your vitamin and mineral levels are. Eat seasonal, local, nutrient-dense foods. And when I say seasonal, when foods are in season, they have higher level of nutrients in them. As they go out of season, the nutrients in them decrease. So make sure that you get as local, as seasonal, and as nutrient-dense foods as you could possibly get. Also, make sure you're getting the proper level of hydration and more water. And get to know your body to get your body in balance. A lot of times we've operated under stress or under just feeling sick and ill for so long that we forget what normal feels like and what healthy feels like. So really getting to know your body, really getting to understand what being in balance is about. And now I'll entertain any questions that anyone has for me at this moment from the group.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hatnot, for a great presentation and, very insightful, very engaging to the audience. Thank you very much. We do have a couple of questions from our attendees from the TSU Rec Center, and I will go over those. One of them is, are there any supplements that can be taken for inflammation? So if someone has, some form of inflammatory conditions, what supplements do you recommend?
Yeah, so I always tell you the new cool kid on the block everybody talks about is turmeric. And turmeric helps with inflammation. But I always say, like I said, when I was talking about how vitamins and minerals kind of interdependent and work with each other. So to activate the healing properties that exist in turmeric, you have to have cumin or black pepper. So understanding if you're going to do a turmeric as your supplement, whether you're taking the turmeric peel or you're adding turmeric to your food and cooking with it. I love to make a good turmeric curry with a little ginger, but add black pepper to it. They also have supplements. If you see it in a supplement form, make sure your turmeric has cumin in it, because that's the black pepper supplement that activates the healing properties of decreasing inflammation in the body. So that's kind of right now the one supplement that's readily available that you can get, but there's also so many different foods that people can focus on. Outside of just supplements, there are tons of food that you could eat to help lower your inflammation. Like I mentioned, the garlic and the ginger, but also understanding that there are foods that actually cause you to have higher levels of inflammation. So for instance, and some of those foods are considered healthy, like tomatoes. Tomatoes are extremely high. Eggplant, extremely high in inflammation. So if your body has experienced high levels of inflammation, that may be the day that you need to stay away from tomatoes or stay away from eggplants, or really just nightshade fruits and vegetables.
Nice, thank you. So turmeric, that's the new kid on the block now, right?
Yeah, everybody talks about it. I was like, I'm Dominican, so in the islands, turmeric has always been around.
Right. Absolutely. That's awesome. Thank you. And I think there was a couple of lists of items or ingredients on your slide. And one of our attendees is asking, what's the correct list of the ingredients? Garlic, ginger, and etc.
And artichoke.
Okay. Artichoke.
Yeah.
Okay.
Artichoke. Those
Awesome.
are the 3.
Thank you. Then I have one or two more questions. So one of them is you did mention about, getting enough sleep, which we know is essential, right?
Yes.
But enough sleep means different things to different people. So how do you define enough sleep? 10 hours, 6 hours, 4?
Yeah, and so it's really it's both quantitative and qualitative, because you can get 10 hours of sleep that's not good sleep. So it has to be good quality sleep. So in that deep REM sleep. So I always tell people your body should be at rest, not necessarily sleep, but at rest for 6 to 8 hours. And within those 6 to 8 hours, making sure that the majority, so for instance, if you're getting 6 hours of rest or sleep, about 3 to 4 of those hours should be in deep REM sleep. So good quality sleep. So really making sure that you're getting into that deep REM sleep is what's really important, because you can get all the hours of sleep. And I'm sure people have had experiences like that where they feel like they slept all day and they wake up and they still feel tired because your body didn't get that deep REM sleep. So you have to not only focus on that number, 6 to 8 hours, but you also have to make sure that 50 to 75% of that sleep is in deep REM sleep.
That's perfect. So quality and quantity. So making sure
quantity. You have to have both.
Making sure that we have a good combination of both. That's awesome. The last question I have here is about, sharing the handout from today's presentation. And I would like to say thank you to all the attendees. The video recording from today's presentation is also going to be available on our website, as well as on all our social media platforms. And we'll reach out to, Dr. Adnot to make sure that it's okay to share the handout itself. And if she's okay with that, we'll be able to share it with the group. And you're saying yes? Okay.
Yes.
So that's a yes. So to the people that are asking about, having copies of the handout, that will be made available to the group. I think those are the questions that we have coming through right now for you, Dr. Adnot. Thank you again for spending quality time to share this very helpful information with us and with our group this afternoon. We will definitely be reaching out to you with any additional questions that comes through. Thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I thoroughly enjoyed it, especially giving back to my university.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
And once again, to all our attendees, we want to say a big thank you for taking time to join us this afternoon. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen to bring up a couple of announcements and then introduce our next speaker for today. Just 1 second here. Okay, we just finished the question and answer section from Dr. Adnot. So now it's just time for us to acknowledge and appreciate all our partners for today's event. So one of our federally qualified healthcare system that is partnering with us for today's event is Be Busy Wellness Center. So Be Busy Wellness Center is a nonprofit community-based health center receiving medical designation as a federally qualified health center in 2013. The organizational mission is to provide highest quality of health care, addressing disparities among underserved communities without regard of ability to pay. Services currently provided align with family planning. This includes internal medicine and family medicine, dental care, mental health care, women's wellness, and much more. So please, for our audience, if you would like to connect with a primary care provider, family care provider, a lot has been said today about taking care of ourselves. So please reach out to Be Busy. Their contact information is 713-771-2292. Again, we want to say a very big thank you to our very own TSU Center on the Family, which is our partnering agency for this afternoon. Several of their representation are actually physically at the TSU Recreation Center, and they are able to connect with us today. Thank you so much, Ms. Lena Bean, and to everyone on your group, on the team over there, joining us this afternoon. The Center on Family Aging and Intergenerational Resources objective is to improve the quality of life for older adults. The goal is to mobilize the efforts of the TSU campus and community to identify existing resources to form a comprehensive, intergenerational and community-based system for an aging society. All programs and services are supported in part by Houston-Galveston Area Council Agency on Aging, Harris County Area Agency on Aging, and the Houston Health Department. So thank you, TSU Center for the Family and everyone represented there at the Rec Center. We appreciate you for spending time with us today. And of course, we also want to say a very big thank you to our other partner from the City of Houston Health Department. So under the City of Houston Health Department, we are partnering with the Diabetes Awareness and Wellness Network, which is called DAWN. And they've partnered with us this entire quarter, last month, this month, and next month, as we focus on obesity and measures for us to be able to achieve our healthy body. So we want to say a big thank you to DAWN, and we have a short video for them, to better introduce what their services had to everyone that is joining us today. Let me make sure I'm sharing my sound. Okay, I have my sound on. Oh no, sorry.
We all want to be healthy, to feel good and function better. Our health is the foundation of all our goals, dreams, and all that we value most. But too often, you don't realize just how important your health is until you lose it and when crisis hits. Then we're willing to do whatever it takes to gain our health back. Here at DAWN, the Diabetes Awareness and Wellness Network, we offer free programming and services to those diagnosed with and
and if I have any concern, they will help me out with any concern. And that helps a lot, especially when you live by yourself. So it's been very helpful. Out there, if people need a lot of help, because there are people that have diabetes and they don't even know they have it. And that's why so many people are in a lot of trouble, health trouble. I learned how to eat right, put more attention to my health, and be more active also. Because when I came, I was like almost 300 pounds. So it's been hard, but it's been great because they're very supportive.
At DAWN, members enjoy a full one-stop shop for diabetes and wellness education. Life. Active living, healthy eating, self-management, health connections, health coaching, and community engagement. Enrollment is free, so become a DAWN member today and take control of your future.
Okay, sorry about that. I had a little bit of a technical issue there, but I think it's resolved now. So we will go ahead and continue. Okay, let me go ahead and share my screen again. Apologies to the audience, please.
Thank you all for your patience. So we want to let you all know that there is a survey that we would love for you all to fill out in hopes of learning how we have done today in today's seminar. There is a link that is in the chat for you to access the survey. If you are live on site at TSU Rec Center, Ms. Samira and Ms. Aisha will be going around with physical copies of the survey. We'd love to have your feedback. We have 10 gift cards that are available for survey participants. Once you complete the survey, we'll ask for your information to receive a $10 e-gift card. Next, we have a text platform giveaway. If you would like to stay connected with the TSU CEC, you can text TSU CEC to 855-264-9031 to receive text messages. And if you text us today, we will mail you a free CEC gift. So please, if you'd like to subscribe to our text platform, this is the perfect opportunity to do so. Just a couple updates and information for upcoming events. We are hosting a cholesterol community conversation for our community members to participate. We'd love to hear from you. We want to know what your experiences are in dealing with cholesterol. And we'd like to invite you to be a part of this community conversation. It's going to happen on August 21st at 10 a.m. It is virtual on Zoom, and participants will receive a $50 gift card for your participation. If you're interested, please give Dr. Asada Richards a call at 281-667-4466, or you can email her at asada@sankofaresearchinstitute.org. Also, we'd like to invite you to next month's health education seminar. We will be discussing preventative measures for childhood obesity, again, virtual on Zoom on August 12th from 12 to 1 p.m. And next, I will be introducing Mr. Caleb Boutte. Mr. Caleb is a public health educator and a certified personal trainer for the Dawn Center, a community-based wellness program focused on educating individuals on managing or preventing type 2 diabetes. Mr. Caleb specializes in creating workout programs and provides personal training for individuals who are living with or are at risk for type 2 diabetes. Mr. Caleb also teaches the group strength training class Exerstart and promoting functional fitness for seniors. I am going to stop sharing my screen at this moment and have Mr. Caleb come up, who will be doing an exercise session for us today. Mr. Caleb, if you want to go ahead and turn your camera on so that we can see you. Awesome.
All right, can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, awesome, awesome. All right, thank you very much, guys. So yes, my name is Caleb. I'm the fitness trainer here at the Dawn Center. And so my specialty is to help people who are at risk for diabetes or have type 2 diabetes lower their outcomes so that they can live healthy and happy lives. So as a fitness trainer, I actually teach people on exercising properly and actually incorporating physical activity into their daily lives as well too. So for our demonstration, I'm going to show you some exercises that you can apply to your to everyday life, whether you're sitting down in a chair, if you're working, or if you're in school. There are some exercises you can do even while you're working as well too. So I'm going to show you some exercises with that. All right. So the only thing you will need is your water bottles in a folding chair. If you don't have water bottles and you need something a little bit heavier, we have dumbbells here as well too. So to start off, we're going to do a small little warm up with our arms. And the first exercise that we're going to do is bicep curls. So just sit upright, keep your arms straight. The weights are right beside the hips, and from here, just bend at the elbows. Slowly bring the hands back down to the hips, and we're doing for 15 reps. All right. So 3, 4, very good, very good. 5, 6. So this is a good warm up for our arms, so that when we do other exercises, we'll be well warmed up for it. 8, 9, 10, a few more. 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Very good, very good. All right, put the weights down, shake it out a little bit. All right, so we warmed up our arms a little bit. The next thing we're going to do is warm up our shoulders. So the best way to do that is preferably if you have lighter weights like water bottles, that'll be great. If not, we're just going to use our hands. So what I want you to do is sit at the edge of back in your chair. Keep your chest down, the shoulders are compressed, and you're placing your hands right beside the ears. And all you're going to do is just simply slowly bring the hands up and slowly bring it back down right beside the ears. All right, so you should feel a good little contraction in the back. And then when you push up, you should feel it in your shoulders. All right, 3, 4, so we're going for 15 reps. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Relax, relax. Yeah, that's a good thing about this exercise, that gravity usually takes over in between those reps. So you'll definitely feel it by the end of your set. All right. So the next exercise we're going to do is we're going to continue working on our shoulders, because we actually use our shoulders a lot every day, whether it's carrying our bags or pushing grocery carts or even pulling things. So to work on our shoulders, we're just going to simply sit at the edge of the chair, and then we're going to look down in our shoes. So as you do that, I want you to make 2 fists, place those right beside your legs. Keep those arms straight. Looking down at the floor, we're just going to bring our hands out to the side, side of us, and go back down. So 15 reps. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Real slow. You want to do it real slow. 12, 13. Yeah, feel it in the back of your shoulders. 14. One more. And 15. All right. Very good. Very good. So you should definitely feel that in the shoulders. So that's a very good warm up, because when you're doing like your heavier exercises, like your chest press or your back rows, you want to make sure your joints are warmed up to avoid any pulling of the muscles or any joint pain. All right. So let's go ahead and work on our legs next. So we're just going to do our leg press. So the way we're going to set up for this is we're going to lean back in our chair, keep one foot flat on the floor, and the other leg is going to be extended out. All right. So for you guys to see that, I'm just going to slightly tilt my camera down just so you can see that. So I have one foot flat on the floor. The other leg is going to be extended out. So with the straight leg, I'm just going to bring my knee past my waistline and then bring it back down on the floor. So the heel is going to touch the floor as you do this. So just come up and slowly come back down. So we're just going to do 10 reps. All right. So 3 for each side. 4, 5, 6, real slow back down. 7, 8, 9. Oh yeah, remember to breathe. And 10. Very good, very good. Relax. You should feel that in the hip flexors when you do that. It's very similar to a squat, very similar. All right, so let's go ahead and switch legs. All right, extend that leg out, bring that knee back for 10 reps. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, real slow. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very good job. Very good. Very good. Should definitely feel that in the legs. Now, this is one exercise you can definitely do no matter where you're at. You know, you can be sitting down waiting on something, and you just, stretch out your legs that way. People may look at you funny, but so what? You're getting your exercise. All right. So the next exercise we're going to do as well, we're just going to do our chest press. So the way we're going to set up for it is that we're going to lean back in our chair. All right, keep both of those feet flat and bring your weights together or your water bottles. All right. So I'm going to start off with the weights on my chest, just like this, and then slowly push up and then bring it back down. All right. So just 10 reps. All right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very good. Very good. Very good. All right. So I hope that felt pretty well. So basically, you want to warm up your arms, warm up your shoulders before you do any kind of strength training exercise. That way, you can be fully energized to do the heavier exercises. Also, with the leg press, yeah, you can do them everywhere. I would say basically do them every other day, and you should be fine. All right. So let's finish up. We're just going to do a couple stretches, and we'll call it a session. All right. So what I want you to do is lock your fingers together. Reach out right in front of you. You should feel a good stretch in your lower back. Look down at the floor and hold it here for 5 seconds. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slowly bring those hands back out. Give the world a big old hug. The chest comes out and the shoulders go down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slowly bring those hands back in for one more set. Hold it here for 5 seconds. Stretch it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one more time. One more time. Bring it back down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. Relax. All right. Yes. Y'all made it. Very good. Very good. All right. So once again, my name is Caleb. I'm the fitness trainer here, and yeah, be sure to join us in August as well too when we do it again. All right. So thanks for attending.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Caleb, for walking us through the exercise session, stretching, and I'm getting, information from the rec center of our attendees, actually stretching and, moving their feet and exercising their bodies. So that is awesome. That's amazing. Please feel free, audience, to put in information into the Q&A session or into the chat box if you have any questions for us, and we will be able to answer those as we go. Next slide, please. All right, the last thing that we have on the agenda for today is to bring us this upcoming new information. Like, we know that there is an apparent surge in COVID-19, so we cannot just ignore that, because our goal here in the Community Engagement Core is to address health-related concerns, and COVID, unfortunately, still remains an health-related concern for several of us in the community at this time. So I would like to introduce Dr. Bai Lee. Dr. Bai Lee is an assistant professor at the College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences here at Texas Southern University. She is an ASCP board certified medical lab scientist. She was educated in China, Germany, and in the United States with a research focus on genomics and genetics of human microbiota. Currently, she is working with the Houston Health Department and Baylor College of Medicine to establish wastewater surveillance of the SARS-CoV-2 virus and other pathogenic microorganisms that can potentially cause community outbreak. So Dr. Lee, thank you for joining us this afternoon, and we would like you to please share some of your findings, some of your recent research findings about COVID with us and with the community over the next few minutes. Over to you, Dr. Lee.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Rajwali, for your introduction. So let me share my screen first. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks to the CEC team for this great opportunity to briefly talk about our recent findings from my research work on wastewater surveillance of COVID-19. So this research project is funded by the NIH, and I am conducting this project at Texas Southern University Research Center for Minority Institutions with our collaborators at TSU, Baylor College of Medicine, and Houston Health Departments. So in a nutshell, the wastewater data collected especially in our third ward community showed a new surge of COVID-19 in recent weeks. You might wonder why wastewater gives information about COVID-19. Here is how it works. When a person is infected with COVID-19, they tend to shed their viruses in their waste. So all the waste from different households was sent to the community lift center, and we collect the sample, the wastewater samples from these lift stations, and we analyze the virus's DNA using a PCR method and in these samples. So because the wastewater is gathered from many households in the community, the result won't really tell us which individual is infected, but it can reflect the infection in the whole community and how it goes. So with our project, we have been collecting samples weekly from a lift station that serves only our third ward community weekly. So it's actually started from April. Our data shows a nearly 1,000-fold of increase. 1,000-fold of increase in viral load when comparing it to the samples collected from June. So before you start panicking at the 1,000-fold increasement, you must understand this refers to the virus concentration instead of real cases. So actually, there is the data from Texas Medical Center that showed about 10-fold increase in the mid-July compared to mid-June. So because we don't really need to wait for individuals to get tested, using wastewater to detect COVID-19 viruses can show the surge of infection nearly a week earlier than the hospital data. So our project will keep monitoring the ongoing surge of COVID-19 in the Third Ward community and TSU campus. And we will keep our community members updated with the new findings in a timely manner. So knowing there is a coming back of COVID-19, what can we do to survive? First thing first, you need to get vaccinated if you're not. So it's the most effective way protecting us from COVID. According to TMC's data, this new surge is driven by a new variant of the virus, which is called Delta virus. So far, this Delta variant is account for nearly 80% of the new cases discovered recently. Although Delta is more contagious and getting people sick faster, our vaccines still offer great protections against it. But the risk is high if you're not vaccinated. And data from State Health Department shows that since February 2021, 99.5% of Texans died of COVID-19 were not fully vaccinated. So if you're eligible for the vaccine, get it right away. As a matter of fact, we have our own on-campus vaccine clinic at TSU, and it's open to the public for anyone 12 years older. Come to TSU to get your shots, and it's super convenient, no waiting time, and the staff here are amazing. So on the other hand, getting vaccinated may not be enough in the face of this new Delta variant. Because the tricky nature of the new variant, there is a chance for fully vaccinated people still get the virus, especially when the community transmission is high, which in return spreads the virus even further. So eventually the virus can outsmart our vaccines and cause outbreak cases. So therefore, CDC just released a new guideline for public safety precaution 2 days ago. And for those who is fully vaccinated, CDC recommended to wear a mask again indoor in public area that is classified as high or substantial community transmission level. So from this figure here, you can see the red represent the high transmission level, and the majority counties within Texas are classified as high. So for us, we probably need to put masks back on anywhere that is public indoor places. So this will not only help to lower community transmission, but also protect family members who are immune compromised or unvaccinated, like younger kids who are not yet eligible for a vaccine. CDC also recommends universal indoor masking for K-12, regardless their vaccination status. And for all people, not the vaccinated or the unvaccinated, the good hand hygiene and social distancing is still something always helpful in protecting yourself against COVID. So if you had any close contact with someone who's known or suspected for COVID-19, get yourself tested right away and start self-quarantine. Fighting COVID is never a one-man job. Everyone in our community is part of the team. We're actually saving each other's life just by getting vaccinated, by wearing a mask, and by washing hands properly. So we've lived in the pandemic for a year and a half, and it is tiresome to just keep up with all this. And I'm totally with you. But whenever you think you're done with it, think of the lives you can save, but just doing the little things. And we should keep up the good work. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe and strong.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lee, for sharing your information about your findings. That's very intriguing. And the fact that that trend can actually be detected prior to hospitalization, I think that's a really great information to share. And again, a very big thank you to our audience for listening in to Dr. Lee's presentation. If you have any questions for her, please feel free to post on the chat or reach out to us afterwards. We'll be happy to share more information about our research and any additional information that is happening here at Texas Southern University. I'm going to go ahead and share my slide as we wrap up for today's seminar. So we have already posted the survey link for today. So I know all our attendees there at the TSU Rec Center. The survey paper has been shared with you all. So please feel free to complete the survey so that way we know what we are doing great and how we can continue to improve in providing services for you. For all our online attendees, the survey link is there in the chat box. Please complete that so you will get an opportunity to win a $10 gift card at the end of today. We do have upcoming events that we'd like to share. Our next seminar is going to be on August 12th, about 2 weeks from now, where we will talk about preventive measures in childhood obesity. So our children, they've been home, with the pandemic, homeschooling, a lot of them have gained a lot of weight. How can we, reduce that? How can we make that, less of an issue so that way healthy living is passed down, not just from us, but also to our children. We would again have the privilege of having Mr. Caleb, our very own exercise specialist, join us next month rather, to be able to show us exercise routine that our children can participate in. So please save the date. It's going to be on August 12th from 12 to 1 p.m. In addition to Mr. Caleb, we also have a dietitian that will be, sharing some additional information with us. Addition to this, we have a focus group coming up, looking at dyslipidemia, looking at cholesterol, looking at ways to manage, obesity and to live a healthy life. So if you would like to be part of that, it's going to be on Saturday, August 21st at 10 a.m. on Zoom. There is a $50, thank you from us to you for joining. If you are able to join, for more information, contact ASATA at 281-667-4466. And lastly, we want to say a big thank you again to each and every one, our attendees, the audience, all the members of the TSU Center for Aging. I know we went over time a little bit, but thank you for taking the time this afternoon to, share with us and participate in today's event. And we hope that you were able to gain some helpful information on healthy living, and for us to continue to live a better community, healthy and closing the disparity regarding health issues. So feel free to connect with us here at TSU Center for Biomedical and Minority Health Research Community Engagement Core. We are very active on all social media platforms at CEC Texas Southern U, or give us a call, 713-313-1233. Send us an email or send us a text message, TSU CEC, to 855-264-9031. At this point, I also want to say a big thank you to everyone that has supported today's event, Samira and Miss Aisha Glover there at the Rec Center, Miss Lena and the team, and for all our speakers, and also to the leadership of the College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences, leadership of the grant itself, NIH-funded grant, as well as to the leadership of TSU for providing support for us to be able to host this event this afternoon. Thank you again, everyone, and we look forward to connecting with you in the future. Thank you and have a great afternoon.